purple clothing. You want to get a purple suit, go get a purple suit. You want to get a gold suit, go get a gold suit. You have a lot of money right now.
Well, that's cool. I mean, it's a cool fact. It's not cool what he did.
Right. I have number 2.
2.
2.
Dos.
Boy Scouts. Before the Boy Scouts actually got their name, the first troop was organized by a woman named Myra Brino Bass in 1910. She
Organized.
I know how to say it most of the time. Yesterday it wasn't my day. Organized 15 boys, teaching them how to hike and camp. Up until 2001, Murray was the home to the Boy Scout Museum of America. It then relocated to
Irving, yeah.
Irving, Texas, next door to the Boy Scouts of America headquarters in 2002. So that was about a year after 2001. So it was first troop was organized by a woman named Myra Brino Bass in 1910.
Yeah, the Boy Scouts that's roughly right. It was yeah. Boy Scouts have sort of been a thing for over 100 years now, and they've made some decisions like they've decided not to ostracize gay boys as part of the Boy Scouts. I don't know how they're doing with the trend of identity. Like if a child defines himself as a boy that wasn't a boy at birth, I don't know if they can enter the Boy Scouts. I would say they should be allowed to, but
right.
I don't know where the Boy Scouts is on that.
Transgender tendencies that some people have.
So,
anyway,
number 3,
covered bridges. Fleming County is recognized as the covered bridge capital of Kentucky. At one time, there was more than 400 covered bridges in the area, but now only 13 have been preserved. So I'm guessing this is like that one show that we did. I think it was like the week before last, that they weren't built very well. They didn't have a good plan behind them.
Gotcha.
Which is why so many of them were not preserved.
Gotcha. Well, I was going to say, we'd best not tell the guy that wrote The Bridges of Madison County that, or he'll write a sequel, The Bridges of Kentucky, and we don't want him writing anything ever again, ever.
Okay.
What, The Bridges of Madison County was horrible.
Good.
No one liked it.
Negativity.
Yeah, about the Bridges of Madison County, I'm okay with it. Not a fan. I'm just saying. I'm a fan of Krysta.
What are you doing?
I'm a fan of Krysta.
Give me a minute.
Okay,
Sir.
here's a minute.
Sir.
Here's a minute.
Sir.
Take your minute.
Sir, no.
Take your minute. You said give you a minute. I'm giving it to you.
Not physically.
Oh, okay.
Hush. We said, if you don't like something, keep it to yourself. What are you doing? No. No. What are you doing?
You want to quit getting our child up in the arms and let her finish her fact.
Huh? Mom?
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
He thinks it's funny. I don't.
I agree with you, Crystalline. You're over here trying to be a good kid and trying to be positive and be a light to the world, and your daddy is being naughty. What? Okay, so what's the rest? What's your next fact?
It would be number 5, right? Wouldn't it?
No.
Oh no, it's 4. We're at 4.
We're at 4.
Okay.
Midlessboro?
Huh?
Midlessboro?
Let me see. Or spell it or something.
It's like middle, and then S-P-O-R.
Oh, Middlesboro. It's the name of a
Middlesboro.
city.
Okay. Middlesboro. It is not the only located in a giant crater, but it's also the home to the Coal House, or Bell County Chamber of Commerce. It was built from 42 tons of bitumen minus. Bitumen. Do you want me to spell it out?
Yeah.
B-I-T-U-M.
Bituminous.
What?
Bituminous coal.
Bituminous coal?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of, yeah.
Off it? Coal Tavern? Off it? It's like off and the end of butt put together.
Off it. Yeah.
Off it Coal Tavern. Coal C-O-L-E.
Right.
At the tavern at the intersection of Old Frankfort Pike and US 62 near Midway is where Zerelda James Zerelda, the mother of Frank and Jesse James, was born.
So there's a connection to Missouri.
And so yeah, that's the facts for this week.
Very nice. Wow. So, wait, almost forgot. Yay. Those were the facts?
Yep.
All right. Well, let's get into the history of Waverly Hills. I'm going to start with, it wasn't originally a hospital. Originally, it was a home with its own little schoolhouse. As Kentucky Historic Institutions explains, the land was originally the family home of Major Thomas H. Hayes, who bought the land outside Louisville, Kentucky, on which the sanatorium now stands. Now, he did that in 1883. Did I say sanitarium or sanatorium? I meant sanatorium.
I don't know.
There were no schools in the area, so Hayes decided to build a one-room schoolhouse for his own children. The teacher he hired was named Lizzie Lee Harris, and she was a big fan of the long series of novels by Sir Walter Scott known as the Waverly novels, and asked Hayes if she could name the school the Waverly School. Hayes agreed, and in fact he liked the name enough to call the entire property Waverly Hills. The land that is known today as Waverly Hill was purchased by... Yeah, I already said that.
Did you?
Yeah, I was started to go into the now. The Board of Tuberculosis Hospitals kept the name when they bought the land and opened the sanatorium. So,
Guess they not wanting to go.
huh?
Guess they aren't wanting to go.
Well, it wasn't that they didn't want a ghost or did. It's just they liked the name Waverly Hills. they decided to open a sanatorium because tuberculosis was a pandemic, kind of like COVID, a little different, because tuberculosis is, by my thinking, a lot worse. Oh yeah, like.
So can we use this for explaining time about tuberculosis?
Yeah, yes we can, because it was a pandemic. Tuberculosis was, like I said, it was worse than COVID, if you want my honest opinion. Because basically what tuberculosis is people's lungs would get these raised pussy rings on them called tubercules. And because that would happen, the whole disease was called tuberculosis. It was also called consumption.
Yeah.
Because people would get really skinny and really frail under this disease because they just didn't have any energy. Yeah. And the one thing, like, and whereas with COVID, it was a respiratory illness, there are things they can do that were not options then that they can do now, like, breathing machines and a few other things. The best they had back then was an iron lung, and iron lungs are
they take up a lot of your life. They take up a lot of things that normal people would do, and that's
well, you're laying in a bed, your body is really trapped in it. You can't move your arms, only your head sticks out. And
I feel like somebody would go insane with that.
And you can't do anything.
You really don't have anyone to talk to either.
Well, you would hope, but in some place like this, where you're there by yourself,
and tuberculosis was contagious, so you couldn't even have your friends and families really around you. So.
But the one thing they knew about tuberculosis was people out in sunshine and fresh air seemed to do better. So when people got tuberculosis, they sent them to a tuberculosis hospital.
So there was one entirely for this because it was such a huge matter.
Right. And there are tons of them. And they all, like, most of the ones that have shut down are haunted, which kind of tells you how bad things got.
Yeah.
Now, Waverly Hills is located in Jefferson County, and in the early 1900s, probably about the time that Kentucky was getting its first Boy Scout troop, Jefferson County was severely stricken with an outbreak of tuberculosis. There were many tuberculosis cases in Louisville at the time because of all the wetlands along the Ohio River, which were perfect for the tuberculosis bacteria. To try to contain the disease, a 2-story wooden sanatorium was opened, which consisted of an administrative main building and 2 open-air pavilions, each housing 20 patients for the treatment of early cases. In the early part of 1911, the city of Louisville began to make preparations to build a new Louisville City Hospital, and the hospital commissioners decided in their plans that there would be no provision made in the new city hospital for the admission of pulmonary tuberculosis, and the Board of Tuberculosis Hospital was given $25,000 to erect a hospital for the care of advanced cases of pulmonary tuberculosis. On August 31st, 1912, all tuberculosis patients from the city hospital were relocated to temporary quarters in tents on the grounds of Waverly Hills, pending the completion of a hospital for advanced cases. In December 1912, the hospital for advanced cases opened for treatment of another 40 patients. In 1914, a children's pavilion added another 50 beds, making the known capacity around 130 patients. The children's pavilion was not only for sick children, but also for the children of tuberculosis patients who could not be cared for properly otherwise. This report also mentions that the goal was to add a new building each year to continually grow, so there may have been even more beds available than specifically listed. Due to the constant need for repairs on the wooden structures,